whenever I hear people praise the college basketball coach because his kids get a good GPA. How about credit the kid who goes to class? I don't want to hear how Bobby Knight made his kids. No, the kids went to class. They get the credit. They took the tests. I don't care about the coach. Aaron Rodgers yesterday went in the Pat McAfee show. Pat's losing weight, by the way. Pat, it's holidays. Have some candy. And flexed a little. Here's Aaron Rodgers on the show.
When it comes to records, I love them and milestones. Like, I do take pride in them. I think there are more things you look back on when you're done playing. I don't think I'm done by any stretch of imagination, even though some people may have thought so in the off season.
You know, it's interesting. Aaron has a right to flex. He's having a great year. And by the way, that's why they drafted a quarterback. They drafted a quarterback because, and I defended it. But in the end, this morning, what does Green Bay need? The last thing they need is a backup quarterback. They need 2 linebackers. They could use another pass rusher. They didn't take a single wide receiver in that draft. And Devontae Adams, cross your fingers, is amazing, top 2 or 3 receiver, but he does get dinged up a lot. But Aaron gets a flex here. And it's interesting about Aaron. Aaron is, I can make an argument. Aaron is, and I've said this for years about valuable. I think the media doesn't get valuable. Aaron Rodgers is the most valuable player in the National Football League and probably has been for most of the last 10 years. That doesn't mean he's better than Patrick Mahomes. It's called the most valuable player. Green Bay turns off 95% of free agents. They don't want to play there. They don't have an owner. So Aaron can't walk down the hall to a Jerry Jones. He can't walk down the hall to a Jeffrey Lurie or one of the Rooneys and say, hey, man, I need help here. I mean, Andy Reid was asking Patrick Mahomes, who do you want us to draft? Like Aaron is in a market that needs him significantly more than he needs the Green Bay Packers. I can't say that about almost any, and I'm not saying Mahomes isn't great, but Kansas City won a Super Bowl with Len Dawson, got to the playoffs with lots of guys. Joe Montana, Alex Smith, and Mahomes is great. But there's a balance there that Mahomes is benefiting greatly from Andy Reid, that offensive line, and that front office. He is, I mean, do you think Mahomes would be this good in Jacksonville? I'm going to go no. He'd still be great, but he wouldn't be this. There is an imbalance in Green Bay. Aaron doesn't need the Packers at all. What would they be without him? They'd be awful. They'd be the Jags. They can't stop anybody. So I'm going to give Aaron on his birthday, he gets a flex today. He's in a very unique situation. And I said this for years and years. LeBron's been the NBA's MVP every year he's been in the league. Michael Jordan was the MVP of the NBA every year in his prime. The league literally needed Michael Jordan. He left, 50% of the ratings disappeared into the ether. And we have to be honest about Aaron Rodgers here. There's no franchise in the National Football League that has more of an imbalance between star player and organization and who needs each other more. I mean, Big Ben is great. They won games without Big Ben. And oh, by the way, you don't think if the Rooneys called up and offered Jimmy Garoppolo a contract or Carson Wentz they've always drafted receivers, offensive line. Well, and Big Ben's great. But even when they didn't have Bradshaw and Big Ben, they're still a really good franchise. But Aaron got the flex. And this morning, Green Bay looks like they wasted a pick. It looks like they wasted a pick. And I'm not going to give Jordan Love and the Packers credit because they drafted a kid out of Utah State, and Aaron now is having a great year. You want me to believe that Aaron kind of mailed it in the last couple of years before Jordan Love, or that he's watching Jordan Love at practice and, whoo, that is a threat. I have got to get my act together. No, Aaron's great. Knows he's great sometimes. That's okay. Get a flex. He gets a flex. Because this morning, that Jordan Love pick, it looks dumb. You're watching Green Bay. They can't stop the run. Looks dumb. Coming up next, it really is interesting. I think when you become iconic like Brady or LeBron, people choose a side. And they refuse to move off their opinion or their side. Can we be honest that Brady right now is actually way better than almost everybody thought? And I'll talk about that. You may not think it's true. We'll prove it's true coming up next. Everybody could use a little comfort this holiday.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
There have been some calls for Jalen Hurts to take over the Eagles with Carson Wentz struggling so much this season. But Hurts' presence may be a contributing factor to Wentz's bad performance. He reportedly was very upset when Philly drafted Hurts in the second round this year. The belief is that Wentz already had to prove he was worthy of the starting job after Nick Foles, and is once again uncertain if the team is committed to him long term.
Can I throw this out?
Yes.
So he already had the deal with the Nick Foles statue thing.
Sure.
So if you watch Philadelphia, I don't think backup quarterback was the thing they needed most. But I want to remind everybody that last year Carson Wentz, dealing with historically bizarre injuries.
Absolutely.
27 TDs, 7 picks, 93 passer rating, won his division, 4,000 yards, 64% completion percentage, and played all 16 games. His reward for that, and he's not Aaron Rodgers 37, he's 27. His reward for that was a quarterback in the second round. And when you watch them play, and you watch their offensive line, and you watch their wide receivers, and you watch their linebacking core, because I do think their secondary is talented, all I'm saying is, I get it. I'm not saying, like Jalen Hurts to me, I thought second round was a little high, but I get the fact that I have a statue outside of my stadium with Nick Foles. Could you be a little sensitive to a guy that feels like the city's not really behind him? Just a little sensitive.
I'm torn on this because, one, I am a very competitive person.
Yes.
And I live with the lingering anxiety that at any moment things could change. So I just believe in working hard and doing a good job all the time. This is a competitive industry that you're in, the NFL. And while I hated the Jordan Love pick, and I didn't particularly love the Jalen Hurts pick, you have to go out there and compete. And Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. You didn't.
I know.
Why? Because you were injured. So that's someone's fault, right? But that's what happened. So had he won the Super Bowl and then there was a statue of Nick Foles because he came in and did some trick play or something, then okay, maybe you'd be a little sensitive. I'm sympathetic to Aaron Rodgers having an attitude about Jordan Love.